record the
Yeah.
computer. There we go. What's up there,
Ta-da.
boys and girls? This is Elevating Your Voice from Monday, April 13th. I'm going to butcher your last name. Today we have Bri Roche.
Roach, just like the bug.
Oh,
Roach.
oh,
Okay.
that's
Yeah,
terrible. Hey, at least
I
you
know.
survived a nuclear holocaust.
Listen, it was our first date. I was
Yeah,
like, or second date. Well, first date,
yeah,
really. But I was falling in
yeah.
love, and I was like,
On the
how
first
do you,
date?
how do you? Oh yeah. I mean, we were engaged
Right,
within 6 months. I was
right
head
on,
over heels. But
right on.
I was like, how do you pronounce your last name? And he was like, Roach.
Roach.
I said, well, that's unfortunate. I will not be
Right.
changing my last name.
What was your maiden name?
Wilkins.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Very
That's
easy.
Yeah.
very legacy, very classical.
It's very European. My
Yeah.
people came on the Mayflower. I'm like,
Right on.
very
Right.
easy in the United States.
Apparently Roach came on the Mayflower too, you know?
There were, I think we brought things with us.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's awesome.
The bug jokes are endless. Like this weekend, we were like, oh, the only roach you want to let in your home. Like
Oh,
it's
that's a good one,
kind of
actually.
You
leaning into it.
Yeah.
you could totally like play on that in real estate world. I
That's
mean,
that's my
in a
plan.
in a weird way. I saw a guy a long time ago when I probably the first 5 years he was doing open house. His name was James Bond, and he didn't use it.
No.
I'm like, dude, like
Missed opportunity.
like
Yeah.
there's nothing. He's like, no, I just
Like
I'm tired
perfect.
of
Like
that. I'm like,
agent,
right,
agent. Yeah,
right.
I
I mean,
mean,
you don't have to
no.
be.
Perfect.
You could spin it off of, I'm not a secret agent. I'm your agent or something stupid like that. But
Oh, that'd be so good.
Hmm.
and I came up with a real estate guy leaving an open house like in my 6 month because everybody's asking me, you do owner? I was like, no, I'm a real estate guy. So
Uh,
on my way home, I came up with when you're ready to sell or buy, call a real estate guy, 602-321-6188. And then I wasn't smart enough back then, 26 and a half years ago to trademark it. So I waited till like 10 years ago. So I
oh,
missed out the whole worldwide thing, but I have Arizona's trademark. I have the acronym trademark. So
good for you.
it's good. I had to shut a guy down at Tucson. He was calling himself the real estate guy. I was like, no, you don't.
Oh, a little competition,
So
huh?
yeah, Arizona, I own it, but like there's a guy in Vegas that's called him that about the same amount of time as I have. So it's kind of, but he's in
You
Vegas, so
guys
I
should
can't.
trade deals. That'd be awesome because people are
That
going
would
to
be
get
kind of
too
fun.
confused. You may as well give each other your deals. Like you got
It would,
somebody in Arizona, you got someone in Vegas.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would be kind of fun.
yeah.
But we're not here to talk about roaches and real estate, guys. We're here to talk about Bree. And
Yes.
so we're going on an elevator. You got 30 floors to give us a spill of who you are and what you're all about. And then we're going
I
to
got
just have
30 whole floors. My
30
ears are
floors.
popping.
But remember,
Um,
elevators go fast.
yeah, Vegas elevators.
Right.
Well, hi, I'm Bree.
Hi. Hi.
First time on the show.
Hey.
You,
It only took
I
one time to ask her two people. Learn from
am.
this. I only had to ask her once.
You have to ask other people more than once?
I've had to ask some
Oh
people
yeah.
like 3 times. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I thought everybody likes to talk about themselves.
We had the peer pressure destiny. I asked Sam and Sewell like 3 times.
We had to trick them.
Yeah. We had
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. They're probably yeah, much calmer, maybe quieter than I am. I know that. Yeah. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's all
So,
good.
I am in week 3 of
Cool.
re-entering into resale.
Nice.
So, I'm drinking from the fire hose again.
Right
So
on.
I've been in real estate almost 13 years
Okay.
and did resale for 2 years back in 2012, 2013 with
Okay.
my mom, who had been
Oh,
doing resale for, I don't know, 15 years or something with Realty Execs, which now I'm learning everybody and their mother at Hub was part of Realty Execs.
not this guy.
Not
Not that
that
guy.
guy. So yeah, so I did that for a couple years. I made no money. I starved.
Okay.
I sucked at it. I
Okay.
hated it. But I didn't know real estate. And I also had
Ah,
never worked in a job where I had to be in charge of my own day, and I
right.
really was not good at it.
Gotcha.
Um, and so I went into new homes. My parents bought a Taylor Morrison. I walked down the street and I talked to the guy who was selling homes, and he told me his annual salary, and I was like, I'm in.
Okay. Okay.
What do
Okay. Okay.
you
Yeah.
need?
Okay. What was his annual salary? Because we all who don't do new builds, we're always curious. I'm always curious about that. So what did the guy make?
It all depends on where you are, but at the
I know. Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
to give you context,
Yeah.
those 2 years, I claimed $27,000 on my taxes. So just
Now
to know where I was.
okay, so what years were these?
2012 and
Okay.
2013, I believe,
Okay. Okay.
or maybe 14, 13, 14,
Okay.
12,
Okay.
13.
We got an idea.
Yeah. So I walked
Cool.
in and I talked to him, and
Yeah.
he said that at the very worst, at the
Hmm.
worst year of your whole life selling new homes,
Right.
you would make at least 150. And
Okay.
I was like, I'm in. I
Yeah.
don't care
Yeah.
if it's boring. And
Yeah.
um and I also liked what I was doing. Obviously, I did
Yeah.
it for a decade.
Yeah.
Um
Sure.
so yeah, so he got me into Taylor Morrison. I started selling homes. I sold homes in my parents' neighborhood for 2 years. So I got to see
Nice.
them every day.
That's
As a
cool.
30-year-old woman, to be able to go to lunch with my mom and dad, it was pretty great.
Nice.
And yeah, so did that for a decade. I did training. I wrote new hire trainings for the builders.
Cool.
I trained all the newbies. I did all sorts of stuff. I sold all over town. So I was North Valley, South Valley, East, West. My
Yeah.
favorite places were honestly Buckeye was my very favorite place to sell. I
Really
loved it. I loved the buyers. I loved the buyer
cool.
profile. I loved how diverse it was. I loved it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Um, and least favorite was Santan just because of the sun and the drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that for a long time.
Cool.
I loved working with buyers. I still love working with buyers. It's the same reason I'm the opposite of Nick. Nick said the other day
Mm.
that, he won't
Got a
work with
list to
buyers. And I was
last.
like,
Yeah.
give me
Hmm.
all the buyers. I don't care what we're
Yeah.
doing. I love working with buyers.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I like working with other agents on the other side. It's fun.
Yeah. Cool.
So that's basically it. So now I'm focusing on infill. So my primary focus is working with infill projects on any stage downtown,
Oh,
specifically downtown. So like
Cool.
cool.
south of Osborne, all the way down to Washington from like 19th to 19th, basically.
Nice.
And I've got a whole like set of, I don't know, like a whole pipeline essentially. So anybody who's pulling permits, anybody who's doing demolition, all the way up
Mm.
to currently selling. And as we all know, they're not really selling right now.
Right.
Right.
So anybody kind of in there, I have a whole packet system of how I'll list and sell it. And
Right.
so that's my primary focus.
So Kristen has a question. What
Yeah.
is infill? I
Oh,
know.
great
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
Kristen.
Yeah.
So it's anything that is in an area that is not currently high density or like middle housing necessarily. So a traditional like new home developer is going to buy a lot in Buckeye that was
Hmm.
the former cattle ranch or
Right.
something. And that's just a traditional development. And infill is typically going to be maybe like less than 20 units, typically 6 to 10 units homes. And they're almost always 2 stories or 3 stories. And like a perfect example, if you guys have seen it across the street from what is that, the church on Bethany Home and Central, there is a,
Uh-huh.
there were
Right
like
across the
one or
street.
yeah, yeah, right on the
Yep.
north side of the street.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, is that Beth? Yeah, that's Bethany Home.
Yep.
And that's an infill. So there
Yeah.
were, I think, two houses there, and now there's like six.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so it follows the highest and best use of the land sort of idea of real estate, and it hopefully
So
generates
so
additional housing.
so now you kind of reference you see the permitting and the building, all that kind of stuff. So you're working directly with those people that are doing those things. Like you go after
Yeah,
them once you see the permits are
yeah.
pulled.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So
Mm.
it's once the permits are pulled is typically
Yeah.
the first place that I can see them.
Okay.
But I also can see when there's a house that's about to go for sale or it's demolished or
Yeah.
so like
Right.
part of the it'll grow because it's only been a few weeks, right? But this has been
Yeah.
cooking for years.
Yeah.
But part of it is going to be, hey, we know that so and so is getting older. He might relocate and move to a different home. It's a 2 acre lot that's probably going to go for sale. So then the
Yeah.
hope
Mm.
is eventually I could also kind of work with the developers in finding properties. But
Mm.
right now, my biggest focus is sales because that's what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's
So
a
it's
that's a really creative niche.
yeah.
Thanks. Thanks.
So
Well,
it's
yeah,
almost like new builds, but not new builds. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
It's exactly right, which is
Yeah.
what I love. Yeah. And it's
Right.
cool because as I'm putting this together, so I basically have a whole pitch that I take to them and I'm putting it together and I'm like, this is just like when I wrote the new home counselor training for builders.
Nice.
Like that's all
Mm.
I'm doing, but nobody is doing that. Nobody
That's
Yeah.
else
cool.
has my skills in
Right.
downtown Phoenix or really in any infill that I walked into. Do any of them
Yeah.
truly understand construction the way I do, understand the
Right.
lending process the way I do in a long-term build? And honestly, a lot of these developers are not doing it. They have not done it so much that they understand like what the Taylor Morrisons understand, which
Mhm.
is bulk, right? Like they
Yeah.
can
Right.
sell in bulk. So
Hmm.
if you take the process of selling in bulk, but you do it for one project, you're going to be insanely efficient, right? Like you
Yeah.
should start selling it at dirt. Why they're not selling at
Mm.
dirt tells me they don't have salespeople. Because I can sell you
Oh,
dirt all day long.
Yeah.
I can sell you the
oh.
dream. I can sell you the pictures. I can figure out what you want and show you that that's what you want. But
Hmm.
most of these developers don't hire salespeople. And they're just like, I really hope it sells once I get C of O. And then they've got these long carrying costs.
So who
So
are
it's,
they?
you
So
know,
if they're not hiring salespeople, who are they hiring?
they're hiring real estate agents who
Okay.
typically, in my opinion, I want
Yeah.
to be careful,
Right.
don't know how to, but they don't know how to sell, they don't know how to sell a new home buyer. So
Okay.
it is a very different skill and is a very different buyer. The buyer
Okay.
profile of somebody who is willing to buy a home that
Right.
nobody else has lived in,
Okay.
that they maybe can't see what it looks like yet, and maybe
Okay.
they're the first buyer, is not the same buyer that typically buys a historical home in FQ Story. They're just
Okay.
not the same buyer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So,
I could see that, but what about like I don't do a lot of historic. I'm the East Valley guy, so
oh,
everything
okay.
like Santan Valley is 10 minutes from me.
Yeah, yeah.
I live
Oh,
Gilbert Queen
I
Creek.
will
I
send
live
you
Gilbert.
all of those
Yeah.
leads.
Cool. I live Gilbert Queen Creek border. So
Okay.
and I still come to the office twice a week, mind you, 45-minute one way. But so my thing is I've done historic in my career, like not
Yeah.
like Sherry does, not like Brad
Hmm.
used to do, like Nick. I'm not that huge. Marco, I'm not sure how historic you are, but I've heard you talk about the neighborhoods. So I'm more like I have two clients right now, both are buyer clients, both are shopping. One's 96 or newer, and the other one's kind of 2010 or newer. So I'm
Mm,
comparing that with the new builds. So my whole mindset with new builds is you're going to get the house that's kind of gone through the settling. You're not going to have to landscape the backyard. You're not going to have to
Hmm.
cover the windows. You're getting something that's been kind of, I don't know, the tires have been kicked.
yeah.
So that's how I kind of compare that. So
Yeah.
the difference between what I do versus the historic is the buyer still going to be the same, or is it still a little bit different? Because I've
I
never
don't
heard
think
this
it's the
before, so it's
same.
very fascinating to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's I don't think it's the same. I think that new home buyers are
Hmm.
less risk averse. So
Really?
they're going to be your buyers who are more willing to buy the first iPhone, right? Like they're the ones who are
Oh,
more willing to be
Hmm.
the first ones in the neighborhood, to
okay.
wait for the fries to be built. They
Okay.
are a very different buyer than the buyer who wants to set down roots
Hmm.
today,
Okay.
Yeah.
done in 30 days, and then know all of their neighbors and have had the feedback from their neighbors. So
Yeah.
obviously there's
Oh.
no one archetype,
Oh,
but
Right.
in
okay.
my opinion, like when it comes to buyers, new home buyers are the ones who are much more willing to take on some stuff. And
Really? That's
because
cool.
they believe the reward is higher.
Right.
Right.
And and I would say that oftentimes it is.
True. Agree.
But I'm not a new home buyer. I don't live in a new home.
Well,
I
because you've
chose a
seen them
historic
firsthand.
neighborhood. Yeah, I no,
Yeah.
it's just because I am a location buyer.
Right.
I
Right.
care
Okay.
about where
Okay.
I live. I care
Yeah.
a lot less about the box. And the box has to be funky and different because I sold
Right.
square houses for so long.
Right.
But no,
Wow.
I cannot buy a new build in Santan because I would go crazy because I can't walk to Lola for coffee.
Right. I get you. I never heard that
Yeah.
location buyer. That's cool. Nick has a
Yeah.
phrase. You drive. I'm going to butcher it now.
Drive
Sorry,
to
Nick.
qualify?
Drive to qualify.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Um, but the location buyer, I have 27 years doing this. First
Yeah.
time I heard this. Free high five.
Yeah.
I have a question. I have a question when it comes to, because I've always kind of believed that new home builds, new home sites. I don't have brain part. The model homes, you get a ton of luck. You get a ton of looky-loos. So if you had 100
Yeah.
people walk in a weekend, how many of those 100 people actually end up buying? If I
That's
mean, can
funny.
you?
It depends on the market. So we
Okay.
used to say that it was an average in like I would say 2014 to 2016.
Hmm.
I would say it was a six touch before purchase. So
Oh,
they would
okay.
call, they would visit, they would click online because at a certain
Hmm.
point we
Yeah.
had the ability then to track it, what
Yeah.
they were clicking and looking at.
Yeah.
They would email, whatever. It would typically be six visits or six touch points before they
Okay.
buy. And that
Oh,
includes the
interesting.
pre-qual, that includes the application or whatever that
Okay.
they're working on. So typically
Okay.
six. During the pandemic, -1. I mean,
Yeah.
they were on a list of
I
150. I
know.
mean, that was insanity.
Yeah, how weird is that?
It was awful. That was the time that I decided I was done selling new homes. It was awful.
See, I hated those
Hmm.
market. I hate when the markets
Hmm.
explode too, because it just doesn't
Yeah,
seem fair for anyone involved because
it's
greed
really
takes
not.
over. Right,
Hmm.
Yeah,
right.
it's not.
And then
And the builders set the market, which is
right, and the builder,
gross.
right, and the builders stop paying the buyer's agents, which is messed up. So,
Yeah. But you still get paid more. This should always make you feel better. I don't know if anybody
right.
knows
No,
this.
that was my
You
next
still get paid
question.
more than us.
That was,
Like,
well, not
Yeah.
except when you guys, except when the builders didn't pay us a dime.
yeah, but like who did Lennar?
And a lot of them did. Elliott
Really?
Homes did,
Nothing?
Lennar did, Meredith. Yeah, during the COVID years, there was about a handful of builders that would pay buyers agents not a dime,
Oh, I didn't know
nothing,
that. I knew
nothing.
that, well, I mean, they would do that if you were procuring cause,
No,
right? But
nothing,
like
nothing. No,
Even if you
it
even
was.
if you showed up and registered with
I
them,
don't
Yeah,
think
I
no,
I don't
think
no. Yeah, they
I
were
don't
not
think
offering co-bro. They were not offering co-brokes,
I think the only one that did that was Lennar, and Lennar did
and
that because
it was Elliott and Meritage did it for a while because I was showing new builds. That was one of the times where I had new build buyers. They weren't showing
hmm,
because they didn't need us.
hmm,
It's
that's
like
crazy.
they drop our co-brokes to next to nothing, and then all of a sudden, oh, we're just not going to pay it because we don't need you
wow.
because people are just flocking. They're just flooding their doors, which I get,
I mean
but
that was true. That was horrible.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
then you're trying to manage your backlog of people who want to buy,
mhm.
in addition to managing the 6 month
Right,
backlog of 60 people who are buying, whose
right,
interest rates are changing. Oh,
hmm,
it was a
yeah,
nightmare. But that
yeah.
that's not
So
right. But yeah,
yeah,
So
most new home salespeople are compensated less than 2%, and now they're compensated less than 1%.
yeah. Nick was
So
sharing that with us. That's
yeah,
crazy.
so
so
Now, do
yeah,
you get medical, dental, vision, all that kind of
yes,
jazz?
you
Okay,
do. Yeah.
and you get bonuses and stuff?
No. So the
No
way that it works
bonuses?
with most new home builders, and it's
Hmm.
all going to change because they're all trying to figure out how to control the variable of realtor commissions. They
Sure.
don't like that they don't know how much they're going to be paying out. So especially if they're publicly traded, the Taylor
right.
Morrison, the Pulte's, all of
Mm,
those, they have to look good for Wall Street. So
right.
they
Sure.
are constantly evaluating how do we control the salespeople. And so it changes.
Mm,
Every builder I was with
mm,
changed a few times, but for the
Wow.
most part, it used to be industry standard. We are 1.65%. You're a
Okay.
W-2 employee. You
Okay.
have what's called a draw. So you make
Hmm.
$40,000 a year flat, and
Okay.
then you pay it back. So it's very interesting. So you are
mm,
100% commission with a safety net. Um,
Yeah.
but the
mm.
safety net is going to be going away because they don't want to do it that way. That's why some of them are paying flat rate. But let's
Ah.
say once you sell, let's say they paid me $5,000 this month. I have a
Okay.
negative $5,000 to them. I sell a
Wow.
house, I get $10,000 in commission. I only get 5,000 of that.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
So I
Wow.
used to take my commissions and I would multiply it by zero point 0.6, and that's what they got. I would get
Wow.
zero
Mm,
point 0.4 of that. But it's
Okay.
still a good living because they pay for
Yeah.
they do all the marketing, right?
right.
Right. Well,
Uh,
and then all the medical, dental, and health, because
yeah,
we with our
Yeah.
1099s, we don't have that. Like I have it because my
exactly.
wife's
Yeah.
a school teacher, but if
Yeah.
my wife wasn't a school teacher, we'd be
Right.
shelling out money for that.
Yeah,
Right.
but at the same time, what's happening now is I used to be able to sell 4 homes and make a fantastic living, and
Okay.
now it's 14 homes to make a
Right.
Oh
fantastic
shit.
Right.
Really?
because I went from
Wow.
1.65 or 2.25% to zero point
Right.
0.7.
Right.
Wow.
So, and now you've got 60 people who are calling you and going, I don't know if I made the right choice. Like, think about how
It's not
hard it
worth
is.
it.
Get buyers over 30 days. It's a
Yeah.
lot, right? It's hand holding,
Mhm.
it's midnight calls, it's,
Yeah.
can I buy a car? And think about
Mm.
that over 6 to 8
Wow.
months
No,
with
thank you.
interest rates and, obviously lending, they can
Mhm.
buy something in the middle of a transaction. It's not screw them up. It's not 30 days, but you the industry is changing and it will continue to change, and I think we're going to watch new homes change significantly over the next 5 years, and it needs to. It's in the dark
So,
ages.
so like
Mm,
play the ages of flat rate.
Yeah, well, they'll do a flat rate, but they're also trying, like Taylor Morrison's salespeople don't write contracts anymore. It's very weird. They took it away from them. Yeah,
So
so they
who
don't write
writes the
contracts.
contract?
so
They
who's
get the
Who writes
writing?
the
sale. They
contract?
have a contract writer who does it, a transaction coordinator who also does the contract.
So they're just basically a ticket taker.
Yep.
Mm,
Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
and that was part of what we loved, right?
Yeah.
It's the negotiations aren't really happening. They are
Right.
happening a little bit now because they're desperate at certain price points. But Lennar went to a model where they just had I don't know if some of you guys have interacted with it at all, but they just had like a computer. So they're
Mhm.
trying to go AI.
Really?
They are trying to make maybe one salesperson sell four places
Wow.
digitally because they don't want to pay. I mean, they were paying them obscene amounts of money. It makes sense to cut that down. So as a
Hmm.
business model, it's not
Holy
good.
shit.
So it's
Well,
all going to change.
Wow.
it
Wow.
almost sounds like what we've seen with the car industry.
Yes, like
You know,
Carvana.
Oh.
And
yep.
it
It's
should be
Oh, I
like
didn't think of
Carvana.
that.
yeah, it's
Well, two
pe-
things. Sorry, go ahead, Marco.
well, it just seems like, and from what I've read is the reason it's gone is because buyers are just getting so much more information now, right? They don't need to have the salesperson explain things. They can go online, they can do it. And so when you go to a car dealership, hey, look, this is it.
Right,
The negotiating is kind of done.
right.
What you're
So,
negotiating is basically the warranty and all that stuff,
yes,
right?
and
It's
now
almost
what I will say with that though is I am of two minds there, right? So of the car, yes, there's maybe 30 different things that you need to know about the car. The house, if you don't have a human being to walk you through and put your hand on a window to find out that a dual pane window is better than a single pane window,
Mhm.
nobody's going to teach you that and nobody's going to look that up. So I still think they need a human being. We need our sellers agents to make sure that they are, that or excuse me, the buyer's agents to make sure that we're taking care of our buyers, that they're asking the right
Mhm.
questions, they're getting the right inspections. We
Right.
can't let the builders just be in charge of the inspections, in charge of the contract, and because they are looking out for themselves, right? They're the
Hmm.
sellers. And so are the agents at the new homes. They are representing the seller, even
Mhm.
though they care about the buyers. But there are so many things that buyers just don't know about their homes and won't know about their homes unless they talk to somebody. So
Mhm.
I think
Right.
that we, as the buyer's agents, now need to be the experts on what's happening with the builder because the
Mm.
builders are going to keep taking things away because they don't want to pay them. The last thing that I did was I wrote a new home sales counselor training for Mattamy Homes so that they could
Nice.
hire people right out of college who had never been realtors before because
Mhm.
Oh,
that's what they want to pay. So that's what's going to happen. And so it's our job on our side now to be like, okay, we are the experts. We will teach you about this. We will show you how this is done because you're not going to have as many experts in that field anymore, I don't think.
And so is this why you're going into infill because you're going to have a little bit more control?
Yeah.
So these developers that are infill because they're not huge corporations,
Yes.
you're able to negotiate a little bit better with them. You're able to
Yes.
kind of as an employee have those
Yes. So
terms.
I get to essentially do both sides. So I get to do what I was doing before without putting on work clothes and heels because I will not wear heels and drive to Santan, right? I get to do it in the neighborhood that I love.
Yeah.
I get to help shape the neighborhood that I love.
I don't like
But
to
I
wear
also
heels
get to
either.
say, this is how you should do this. I can't tell the builder how to do it. I'm
Right.
like, hey, builder, this is wrong. You should, because I was in management for a while. I only made it 5 months and then I lost my mind because I was like, guys, this is
Hmm.
not logical. You have to do it this way. And they're like, this is the way we've always done it. And I couldn't
Wow.
do anything. And so now with infill, I can actually shape the way the industry
Hmm.
is growing, the way the industry is
Nice.
changing, and I can be at the front
Yeah.
of it and I can go faster and I can do more without people telling me no, basically.
Right.
Gotcha.
That's
That
what,
makes sense.
yeah.
All right, so we totally taken 25 minutes talking about the new build world. I know it's driving Marco
Sorry.
nuts. No, 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 it's my fault because I wanted to open that can of worms because it
Sorry.
fascinates me because no, you don't be sorry.
No,
This is
yeah.
elevating your voice because we can have another conversation with this at a different time, Bree. So don't worry about it. But I know Marco has his questionnaire, so I know Marco's over there itching like, come on, Chris, I
No,
want
I
to ask
mean,
my
I think
questions.
everything's in line with what you've been saying, Brie. Like, I think, from what I've heard, I think you have such a unique opportunity
Hmm.
because um, you're starting fresh, but at the
Hmm.
same time, you're starting fresh with a whole bunch of knowledge,
Yes,
right? And
and different knowledge that most people don't know,
yeah,
especially
yeah.
when it comes to
It's
yeah.
so you're going into. I mean, obviously, it's still real estate, but you're going into a completely different realm, and it's almost like you're starting new, but starting new with 15 years of experience of not having to learn the contract, not having to learn how to do comps, all those things, right? Like a new
Yeah.
agent would have to, right?
Yeah.
So this new path that you're taking, you talk a lot about systems, you're talking a lot about AI. Like, where's your head at? Like, how are you? Where's your focus right now?
That's a great question. So I have had to actively slow myself down So this is something I've been thinking about for a while. And so as soon as I made the decision, okay, I want to do this, I'm going to go with Hub Realty. I was so excited. I would, I wanted to just hit the ground running. And I went,
Mm.
I have no systems. And I also have ADHD, so my brain will just go like this. So what I've been doing for the past 3 weeks now is developing my systems. So I am using a combination of Claude AI and Notion. And
Mm.
I also have hosted a handful of websites that have all of my clickable links there. And then now I'm learning how to incorporate Brivity as well. So
Cool.
right now it
Nice.
is laying the foundations, getting the systems in place so that I don't have to do it again. Because I have
Yes.
ADD, I don't like things that are boring, and I don't
Right.
like doing things twice. I
Right.
hate admin, and I sure as shit don't want to do it twice. Sure as shit.
Yes.
And so I, it's creating my templates. It's creating my social media templates. It's creating all of my emails, my times, my time blocks, and all that stuff. So it's been trying to figure out what that looks like right now. And I am just like itching to have a meeting with anybody who will sign a contract at this point. So now I'm ready to start pitching, to start moving. I've been meeting and going to every single infill I can get my hands on just to sort of like secret shop them and see how they're doing. And yeah,
I think that's so smart that
really.
you're taking the time. I mean, I think a lot of new agents, once they get their license, they want to go and they want to go do like 50,000 open houses. And before they have systems in place, before they have like a CRM, because the reality is those, it's great to go get out business, but you do need systems because when you get busy, it's the systems that are going to keep you busy, right?
Yes, that's a great way to
So,
say that. Yeah.
like, I think for me, like the best time to prospect is when you're busy. And the reason I say that is because you have that momentum, you're feeling good when you're on the phone, when you're talking to a person, you're confident, right? So, but if I don't have systems in place,
We suck.
Right.
it's just too much.
Yeah.
It's just too
You
much,
can't
right?
deliver.
Yeah,
You're
you
like, hey,
can't.
I'll get you
Yeah,
in an hour. And then you're like,
Yeah.
or four, because I
yeah,
don't know how to do that.
right.
You
Or,
know,
or
it's like,
you're or
I
you're too
don't want that.
late.
Yeah.
You're too late because now you're spending 2 weeks develop that system that you should have
Yeah.
developed 2 months ago,
Yes.
right? So I
Yeah.
think I think what you're doing is fabulous.
I do too.
Um,
I like your approach to it. I've never come across somebody who has their ear to the ground, literally, with dirt, and you have a game plan of how to attack that.
yeah.
That I can see in a decade, if you do this right, which is probably it sounds like you will, you're gonna just freaking dominate infill builders, man.
Thank
Oh
you.
yeah.
That is my hope is
Yeah.
to, continue with Hub and build a team under me and
Yeah,
basically be the only team who does the infills. I will be the Phoenix
that's
infill
good. I love
specialist
that.
full
Oh,
time.
So
I
with
love
so,
that.
so yeah, so
I
with
will
that,
be. I love that.
yes, good use of words. See, it's the positive thing. It's like little man, we're building this crazy Lego. My grandson, and he says, I can't do it. I said, yes, you can. You just don't understand how to do it.
Mhm.
I like that.
Oh, so it's that mindset, right? So when
Yeah.
doing this, going from the dirt approach, are you hobnobbing, or are you just like you go out there kind of like Chris was on with the K, and he goes to coffee shops every day and kind of connects with people and that kind of thing, right? And he kind of builds his
Yeah.
database that way.
Yeah.
Are you doing the same concept? Are you bringing once you find out who that person is, you just accidentally showing up at their workplace or little bit of stalking? I got a private investor guy I can say, okay, hook you
Yeah.
up with, find where they
Okay.
have their coffee and just sit behind them at a coffee
Uh,
shop.
no, no, I'm too awkward for that.
Okay. Okay.
I will say or do something stupid if that's what I do. No, it's got to be like for me anyway. Because I live downtown. I'm already at the coffee shops. I seem to already be friends with these people. That
Okay.
is the part that is crazy to me. Is I feel like
That's cool.
everyone I meet is somebody who helps me take another step forward.
Hmm.
Um, but at the same time, I have to, like Nick and I were talking about it the other day because he was like, hey, why don't you just go down
Yeah.
to like the zoning and planning commission? And I was like, what do you mean go down
See,
there?
I
What,
never
like,
that. Yeah. Yeah.
huh?
Yeah. I know.
And he
Yeah.
was like, yeah. And I said, well, do I
Yeah.
take cookies? And he's like, yes, make friends with them. And I went, okay. I'm just, yeah, I can do
Yeah.
that. I'm not
Have,
shy, right?
Right.
But
have you
I
ever?
have
Yeah.
to. be blatant about what I'm doing. Like I am
Well,
here because
yeah,
this is what I do.
he used to take flowers. He picked like 4 or 5 different places in the valley, and he would go give them flowers every Monday morning, just to kind of know the receptionist to get into
No.
yeah, that's Nick.
Ah, brilliant.
Yeah,
I love
yeah,
it. And that's been
yeah.
the greatest thing about even just sitting in the office. I did my first floor time last week and
Nice
just
job.
sitting in the office and just getting everybody's ideas is just
Mhm.
so good. I think so many realtors are in these silos and they
Uh-uh.
think, well, I don't need to be in an office. I don't need to
Wrong,
be around other people. It's not
wrong.
true.
Mm-mm.
We are
Mhm.
community creatures, you
Yep.
know?
Yeah.
I
So
came to
it's
Brokers
helpful.
Hub because of that, because I was at Keller Williams, COVID hit, so
Yeah.
our office went from 60 to just 4 of us. And I'm like, I can't thrive in this. And Nick and I had done some deals previously, and we had talked previously. Then
Yeah.
I just like, screw this, I'm leaving. I'm coming to Brokers Hub just because of that,
Smart.
because of the culture. And I love the fact that
Yeah.
777 now is bringing that culture back even
Yeah.
more because it was there when I started and it kind of
Oh,
just
great.
fades away,
Yeah.
which is cool. It happens because we're all independent contractors. But yeah, awesome.
Bree, you you working here heavily in downtown. I guess my biggest curiosity is, are you open to commercial? Are you going to be thinking about doing any of that? I mean, obviously there's enough
Um,
residential here downtown, but I think there's also
yeah.
opportunity for commercial, but I don't know if you even thought about that
So
or
it's a really good question. There could be an opening for somebody on an infill team to
Hmm.
do it. No, I don't want to. And I think because for me the rewarding part is working with the buyers. So
Mm.
there's also sort of another project that I'm working on that I would rather spend my time on than going that direction. I'd rather get really
hmm
good at infill residential. And
hmm
then
Yeah.
I also am working on a project for creative financing, specifically for people who are from low income communities, maybe people who have been left out of the system for years because of
Right.
whatever reason, systemic, redlining and things like that.
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
rather work with those communities and help them get financing. So I'm working on that kind of on the side. So that's the other part of my energy where that's going right now.
Okay,
But
cool.
Cool.
there is room for commercial, and I think commercial to residential would be really important.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know that that really lights me up.
Mm.
Yeah, that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think I've never done commercial, but I know a few commercial agents or brokers. I think they're just a different animal. I think
Well, yeah, it's a long
yeah,
transaction. That's the other
yeah.
thing. That's new home salespeople too, right? Like when
hmm
you're calculating your commission 12 months out, it's a
Yeah,
Right.
different world,
yeah.
and then you've got, all the entitlements and the legal stuff that goes to it. It's really interesting, but I don't feel the payoff of like the buyers moving into their new home, you know?
Right, right. Can we talk a little bit about AI?
Yeah,
You seem like you have a really good grasp.
love it.
I've seen some of your social
Yeah,
already,
I
and
don't know if
it's
you've seen my YouTube. I have a YouTube channel on
oh,
AI and
I
travel.
haven't.
So I did an interview with a German public broadcasting company about how I use AI and
Oh,
like
really?
I love
Okay.
AI. Yeah. I
Yeah,
hate
so
it
so
and I love it.
so what are
Right.
you using? How are you using it? I mean, I think for a lot of us, we all know AI is the future, but I think it's so overwhelming. There's so many things you can do, and it's
Yeah.
kind of like,
Yeah.
what do I do? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah. The I have been playing with it for, a while. I think I mentioned my husband's in IT, so I sort of had no choice. So I was introduced to it early, and often. So I recently made the move from ChatGPT, who we call Chad in my
Yeah.
house,
hmm
to
Mine's
Claude.
Dave. Mine's
Uh,
Dave.
Dave, okay,
Yeah.
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 And I made it for me for ethical reasons. I prefer the way that Claude looks at how they're utilizing AI, who they allow access to it.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan, but ChatGPT knows me so well that it's hard not
Yeah.
to use it. I still do.
hmm
Yeah.
But I mostly use it the way that I think that other people should, which is I use it as an assistant to do the boring stuff I don't want to do.
Hmm.
Or to use it to do research. I'm a huge reader. I actually will read and use ChatGPT or Claude to help me understand the broader historical context or the author or whatever. So when I'm building systems, I will use it and I will just info dump. I will just say, I will voice text, I'll be walking around, info dump. Here are all the things I need to do this week.
Right.
This.
Right.
Help me organize this. And so I use it to take the mess in my brain to make sense of it.
Oh.
Um,
Hmm.
for the most part. Because I don't think that we should be allowing AI to do all the critical thought for us. I think that's when we
Right.
get into trouble, because it does mess up. It makes
Yeah.
mistakes. It hallucinates. It
Right.
tells you characters are in a book that don't exist. That
Right.
happens. I
Yeah.
ask it to build a map, and it builds a map of Vegas, not Phoenix, on a Phoenix
Yeah.
overlay. It's weird. So I think that, like we as the adults who grew up without computers
Hmm.
need to be able to tell our younger generations, like, don't just trust AI. You use
Yeah.
AI as a critical thought tool, not
Yeah.
as critical thought. So I use it to make sense of my brain and also to push me. Sometimes I'll say, what am I missing? Like,
Yeah.
what question should I be asking
Hmm.
right now? I'm going to prospect these four builders. This is what I plan on saying. What am I missing? What else should I be
Yeah.
doing? And it'll bring
Hmm.
up things that I never even thought of.
Yeah.
So things like that, or hey, I'm really interested in working with the indigenous populations of downtown Phoenix. How do I restore some land rights and
Mm.
some housing? And I'll say, well, have you talked to anybody from the tribes? No. Oh, right. I should do that.
Right.
So I use it to sort of help me catch what I might be missing,
Nice.
as like a teammate or as a tool.
Cool.
I really like that because I think a lot of us think of AI as like, okay, here's this, do the work for me,
Right.
right?
You have to
And
talk to it. You have to
yeah,
Oh
engage. You have to
yeah.
like
Oh yeah.
really like I was
Yeah.
watching somebody else the other day who was doing something and they're like, "How do I download this?" And I went, "No, what you need to know is how do I from this system download this to that system?" Like you can be so
You
specific.
can. Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
I
hmm
guys
get
use?
I use Chat GPT and Dave and I have a really good like 3 years now. And he'll piss me off and I'll tell him he pisses me off. Like, dude, what are you doing? Like, what is that? Like,
Yeah.
so, but it's, and I use them for the Chris and Mike show, which is my other podcast. And
Oh,
literally, when
cool.
I have a show done, I'll give him the summary, and I'll ask him first, hey, you remember how to do the summaries for YouTube? And he lists how I've instructed him to do them, and then I'll give him the information. Who plugs it all in, and then I go through and
Smart.
review it and make sure it's human text, right?
Love that.
So, and it's the same thing when I was trying to incorporate this Zoom podcast into Riverside FM to make edits and stuff, but it just doesn't work because the platforms don't like to talk. But
yeah.
he would do that as well with this show, which was
Cool.
cool. So he
Yeah.
does all kinds of things for me. Based
That's
like
awesome.
my wife had this wild hair about changing our entryway, so I took a picture of our entryway outside. It says, "Dave, what can we do?" And he gave like these 10 things to do.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Cool.
It's insane, and created some images so before and after.
Oh
So
man.
it's amazing. I had him
Those
do
images sometimes are amazing and sometimes are
right,
Yeah.
not.
right. Last week for the hell of it, I grabbed this photo off of the internet. I said, Dave, can you virtually stage this living room? And he staged it.
Oh, I saw this
hmm
picture.
Right. So now I went to one of my vacant listings and I staged it. So instead of paying somebody $26 for 10 photos, that's $260 for 10 photos. I did it myself in 20 minutes. I'm trying to figure out a way to how to
Yeah.
side hustle that for the agents that are inept, because
Yeah.
I'll spend 20 minutes and give you 10 virtually staged photos. Like
Do
Yeah.
that. Put that
it
on
was
Stan
Yeah.
Store or Etsy. I'll virtually
right.
stage for you. I'm sure
Yeah.
people are already doing that. There's
Oh,
probably 14-year-olds
totally.
making a living on that right
You
now.
know,
Totally.
even take
Totally.
it further. I last October, I had a client that we would go into the houses, and some of the houses that were vacant. He would take a picture of the living room.
Yeah.
He would say, stage this according to our taste in
Hmm.
furniture.
Yeah.
He would do it, and then we would get a picture of what it
Mhm.
would look like with their furniture. It was
So
amazing.
cool.
It was
That's
so
really
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it
And
was awesome.
what is interesting to me is I feel like we're making this really interesting shift where art is going to become even more valuable too. So like you
Hmm.
just made me think of something, Marco, is like how cool would it be to like hire a kid who loves to sketch and have them like make a watercolor of what it would look like, right? Like
Mhm.
the younger generations of buyers are looking for something. I mean, you've seen the listings where it's like a picture of a door handle and you're
It's
like,
stupid.
what? Because it's vibes, right? Like so
It's
the younger
it's a
generation
door
doesn't have
handle,
any
man.
money to buy anything right now, but we're fixing that. We're working on it. But
Yeah.
like,
Right.
but it's all about like kind of like what we're doing now. It's just like,
Hmm.
what other cool stuff could you do? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
interesting. It's so
What
because
what
AI is going to push us more towards art too.
yeah. Do you have
I
a
I
this
definitely
is
think so.
a going backwards a little bit question, because it just dawned on me when you mentioned the younger buyers don't have any money. Like the average first time home buyer
Yeah.
now for residential resale is 34. What was the average home buyer for new homes? I don't know if you can
It
answer that
depended
because
on the
it's
community and the price
okay.
point.
Okay.
But I did have access to that marketing stuff when I was in management.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's the same data. It's
Okay.
like the move up buyers and the move down buyers basically are the
Okay.
only ones that have any money. And what I
Yeah.
will tell you is when I was selling in Buckeye,
Hmm.
maybe that's why I liked it so much, is the price point was so low because it was pre-pandemic that
Yeah.
they were like, I would say the vast majority of them were Air Force guys,
Oh.
mostly men.
Mm, mm.
Um, and because the Air Force does such a great job, that, by the way, that is another thing that you all should be looking into is like how to get in with the Air Force. Because
Yeah.
Luke Air Force Base is a training camp, and
Hmm.
it's really, really good about they make them go through financial training because they're making more money than a lot of them have ever made, and they
Yeah.
teach them to invest in homes
Yeah. That's why
specifically. And
the Air
so a
Force.
lot of,
Yeah.
yeah,
The Air Force lets you have your cell phone during basic training, so they're kind of the wussies of the military. My
but
son's a Marine, and once you put your boots on the ground, you
Yes.
don't talk to anybody for like, I don't know, I want to say 50, 60 days. But the Air Force, you get these little cushy little beds, and you keep your cell phone. You can call mommy and daddy every night. So of course they're going to train you all
yeah,
these things
so
because you know,
yeah. So it's the retired Marines who will buy our houses.
right?
Probably not it'll be the Air Force
Yeah,
trainees that are going to be the ones buying
yeah,
from.
yeah,
And the nice
yeah.
thing about the Air Force is they get, they have their VA that
Hmm.
they can use, but
Yep.
most people think you can only use it once. It's not
Nope,
true.
you can't.
You only
Nope.
have you have
Yep.
entitlements, right?
Nope.
The amount.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
the thing is, if they get restationed within like their 2-year period, they're allowed to list it for sale without any penalties
Oh, that's
or rent
cool.
it. And
Oh, that's
so
cool.
keeping a relationship with those buyers
Yeah.
is really smart too.
Now, how much did you stay in contact with the buyers that you sold new homes to? Because I always thought that would be a niche of because most on-site agents you exclude it because I don't, but don't pay attention to that. And then when you
I
get a neighborhood that's done 3 years in, you
yeah.
don't have you'll see 20 different signs out front when you drive the neighborhoods because nobody nominated. Did you ever?
Yeah, I didn't. Well, because as a new home salesperson, you're not allowed to do any work outside of new homes.
Oh,
Right.
So that broker does not want resale. So we just
mm,
that was not a potential lead source for us ever. And
Do you have to
honestly,
sign a non-compete? Do you have to sign
no,
one?
it's just the broker just won't let you.
Oh, okay.
You
Okay.
just can't. I mean,
Hmm.
you can leave. People do that all the time. I have a good friend of mine who went from Taylor Morrison to Mattamy to David Weekley,
mhm.
and I will tell you, her buyers will follow her and buy a
Wow.
house from her in her new neighborhood because they
Cool.
like working with her and they trust her. There are
Wow.
very few new home agents that are like that, but
Yeah.
really, really good ones have that. So builders
Okay.
want that.
Okay.
But they have to pay them more. So, but yeah, I did not stay in contact with them other than friendships because it
Yeah.
gets too convoluted because you spend 8 months with them. So you build
Yeah.
up sort of this like false friendship sort of. And
Yeah.
then the moment you walk into their house, they're like, this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong.
Oh,
And you're like,
yeah.
I shouldn't have come in here.
Right. Right.
I have
Yeah.
work to do because I can't help
That's,
you. This is warranty
yeah.
now. So
Yeah. I
Yeah.
could
yeah,
see that.
no, I think that it's a great market to
Mm,
work on after the fact because people have
yeah.
so much equity quickly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
not for me.
So it's a
Actually, that's not
relationship
a
by
bad idea.
convenience. Yeah. No,
What'd you say?
I was a relationship by convenience. I always thought it would be a smart play for the new build agents to garner referral fees and find their actual resale realtor and get referral
Oh,
fees.
no, we're not allowed to
Mhm.
do that either. Yeah,
Hmm.
Really?
that is actually in our employment
Wow.
contract. Yeah, because when I was selling new homes, my mother was in resale, and my mom was like,
Okay.
"Send me some deals." You
Yes.
cannot do that.
No
No.
shit.
Yeah,
Wow.
you cannot do that. You may not
So
filter that
even
because it could become a
wow.
racket, right? Because now
Oh
you're running up the
yeah.
bill because your mom is selling everybody who doesn't have an agent. Because
Mm,
you guys have sold new
mm.
homes.
Well, I
You
wasn't thinking.
know that you
I
go in
wasn't.
there.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking from that aspect. I was thinking
Oh,
of the Air Force guys lived there for 2 years, and all of a sudden he's going to move. So you know he has to move because you have that relationship. Hey, mom, Joe over here needs to sell his house. Give him a call.
really not supposed to.
Hmm.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
you
because that would be
could,
a great way to get you referral business. But wow, you
but
would
you
think
also
they
can't
would
get the
allow that.
referrals. You
But you
can't
think,
get paid a referral.
but you think they would allow that because it would help subsidize the income.
No, because
Wow.
they don't want people to leave the neighborhood.
Right.
They don't want for sale signs in their
Oh,
neighborhood.
Right.
that's
They
fucking stupid. That's
Especially when
that's
but think about it.
unrealistic.
If you're looking at a new
Yeah.
home community and there's 50
Mhm.
for sale signs, you're not going to buy in there.
Right. It would be like,
What's
what's
wrong
going
with
on
the
here?
community?
What's
Oh,
You
happening?
don't
okay,
want that. You want consistency. You want people who have been there
okay.
for years, who love the builder. Like they don't want to
Uh,
sell those. They don't,
Okay.
plus the builders
Okay.
don't care. You don't need, you're not trying to make any money on the side because you don't want to, you don't have time. Yeah,
Okay.
it's
Okay.
a good idea, but yeah,
Yeah.
I would
It
say
would
you're better off
Just
standing on the corner with
yeah,
your cards,
yeah,
handing them
yeah,
out.
Oh, okay. All
yeah.
right, cool. I'll try that Tuesday.
Hey Bree,
Yeah,
you talked a lot about in the notes about mindset, letting highs and lows control you.
yeah.
Um, also celebrating not only closings. So I think it's no secret it's a rough market right now. You know,
Mhm.
we might be heading into
It's
a
not a rough, it's not a
rougher.
rough market. Stop that negative talk, Marco.
Well,
It's a unique,
it's a
come on.
unique market, right? It's a unique market, but there are some agents that are, okay, I haven't done anything. I haven't sold
Mhm.
anything. So when you're talking about, these highs and lows controlling you,
Yeah.
what are you talking about that?
The real estate market and real estate in general is a roller coaster. We all know
Hmm.
that,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
as context, I sold a product for Taylor Morrison on Miller and Osborne. It was a three-story condo, and they were $750,000. They in like 20, I don't know, 2010. No, that's not right. 2015, I think.
Mm.
And we could not sell them. I sold with my partner. We sold three homes in 12 months, and it
Wow.
was a nightmare. And we
Yeah.
sat in that office for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, just banging our head against the wall.
Hmm.
Right.
And I came up with whatever creative strategies I possibly could. And my mentor at the time came in because I was, salespeople, when you're not selling, you just do who am I? I'm a
Right.
horrible person. This job is awful.
Right.
I should have been a teacher. Like you just go down all these horrible rabbit holes, right? And
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
desperate. You're trying to sell and they can feel it.
Mm.
And so he had said to me, like, don't get on the roller coaster at any time. When it
Hmm.
gets really, really high and you're selling like crazy and you're closing
Hmm.
houses and you're getting listing agreements, like you cannot be too full of yourself because nothing lasts forever.
Right.
Nothing. And that will change.
Yeah.
And the same thing as the lows. You have to remember the low lows, you cannot start beating yourself up. You can't start saying, well, how do I change my business?
Mm.
Consistency is key. And
Right.
so not letting yourself get too high or too low is, in my opinion, the only way to stay comfortable and happy in real estate.
Yeah. Yeah.
While at the same time still going to Postino because you just got a listing, right? Or like
Right. Right.
still having a little happy dance once that call goes well, or the
Mm.
inspection is finished and you guys agreed on the Binzer, woohoo, right? You can still
Yeah.
celebrate it
Right.
and be proud of yourself so you don't burn out.
Right.
But I really, really felt some serious burnout at the end of COVID. And I mean, I quit my job and traveled the world for a year because I was like,
Oh,
screw this.
nice.
So like because I didn't listen to my own advice, right? I was like, I'm
Yeah.
amazing. And then I was like, I suck. So,
And I
like,
think,
but when interest rates go from 3 to 7%, like, what are you going to do?
right.
So, yeah, that's what I feel like that is like that's my yoga practice. That's my previous religious self is like the steadiness, the consistency, understanding that there are bigger things than this, than bigger
Mhm.
things in real estate,
Yeah.
allowing yourself to celebrate your own wins, but not beating yourself up if it's
Right.
in my opinion, yes, a rough
Well,
market.
and I think also like when you have those systems in place and you're doing them consistently,
Yeah,
right? It helps neutralize the highs and the lows, right?
yeah.
Because when you're at the high, you're still having those systems in place. That means that
Hmm.
when the low comes, you're gonna have still some deals, right?
Yeah, you still
Um,
got everything done on your to-do list today.
yeah,
And you still have people running through. You might have one or two deals instead of
right,
five or six.
right.
But
It's the
you're
it's
really good at that, Marco. You have a consistent schedule every day, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, the boring stuff wins. The
Yeah.
boring stuff wins.
I know.
The boring stuff. Like I'm busy. I'm busy. I feel like I've always been busy, but sometimes it's not busy as I'm in to an escrow, right? Sometimes it's just
Mm.
I'm busy because I need to make my phone calls. I need to
Yeah.
do this. I need to do my newsletter. I need to do this event. And so I think if you're, I mean, to me, it's motion is motivation. When you're doing
Like
things,
that.
it's gonna motivate you. Motion
Yeah,
is
like
motivation.
momentum. Yeah,
Yes,
instead of motivation as motion. which I
Yes,
think is what most of us do. Like, I
right.
don't want to do it.
No, you have
Right.
to do it, and it's going to give you motivation. If you're checking out boxes, if you're doing stuff, it's going to motivate you. You
Yeah,
know, being
that's true.
idle, being idle just yeah, there is times when you know, like Sunday, I took most of the day off. I went down to Tucson, visit my family, and I tuned out of real estate. I didn't talk about real estate, which is good, but
Did you pay the $7 to take the day off?
yes.
Okay, good job.
He's like,
Hey,
well,
it's
I am
well
now.
worth it. Well worth it. But the
Yeah.
thing is, you know, I'm back at it,
Yeah.
I'm back
Yeah.
at it, and motion for me is motivation. As long as I have a system, whether it's the best, the worst, at least it's my system, and I know that
Right.
I'm being productive.
Yeah.
And I've been good. I've always been able to close. So which is I think for a lot of us, going back to your point, is you have to manage those highs and lows, right?
Yeah.
Because there's
Yeah.
going to be a time where I'm not going to be busy, right? I'm not going to have things in escrow. But I know that at some point I'm going to get things back in escrow, and it's all because of those
Yeah.
systems,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know?
That we used to say, especially when we were struggling, we would say, okay, what's our conversion rate right now? And during that rough time with those townhouses, it was like 1 out of every 100 people we talked to. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
So what we knew is, let's say I'm making $7,000 from the sale of one house.
Right.
Okay. So every conversation out of 100 I'm having, I'm earning that paycheck. So
Yeah.
Mhm.
you are getting paid. You
Right.
are making that money. So
Yeah.
by having those 100 or those 99 conversations where they're not panning out, or they're like,
Right.
no, we're just looking, or, oh, I'm going to go with my cousin, right? Like, you are still earning your paycheck at the end of the day to get that conversion,
Yeah.
essentially. But by all those no's, you finally get that yes, you've earned it.
Yep.
And so that helped me a lot, because I was a server, I was an hourly employee for a long time, and you are making that money little by little if you think of it as working hourly,
Yeah,
essentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. We
I
got
mean, you
about
have
7 minutes left, so keep.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
How
No,
did
you're
that
good.
happen?
I'm the timekeeper. I'm just letting you know we have about 7 minutes left. So whatever the questions Marco has, fire away, buddy.
yeah, no, I mean, I am so interested in what you're going to be doing, Brie, because I think it's such a cool position for you to be in, where you're starting new and you have all this experience. Um, and I love that you've took the time to put some systems in
Please.
place.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
I think your social media presence is amazing. I've seen some of the videos you're making already. I'm like, holy cow, this is really good. Wow, this is really
Thanks.
good.
It's a lot of
Um,
fun. My
and,
YouTube is coming in handy.
yeah, yeah, and yeah, please be sure to like let us
Put your
yeah
YouTube
the
link on
link
the
in
broker
for the
page.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay,
And now
I will.
are you doing the 777 club?
I am.
Okay,
The
cool.
past two
Right
weeks
on.
are mush because I still was like ordering
Okay.
cards and signs.
Okay.
I got my new
Cool.
sign, but
Right
yes, I'm
on.
on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Cool. Right on.
I'm so happy you're
yeah.
doing it. I think
Thank you.
I think it's the right thing to do, especially for you that somebody's starting out. I mean, kick yourself in the butt, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Just get after it. Get after
yeah.
it. What do you have
Well,
to lose?
and I will tell you guys that this would not have happened had Wes not listed this house that I'm sitting in right now, and I didn't buy this house. I would have never talked to Nick,
Right.
who looked at me and goes, "Have you ever thought about doing infill?" And I was like, "Yes. Do you know how I could do infill?" And he's like, "You could work for me." I mean, none of this would have come together
Right.
had that conversation not happened,
Yeah,
had Wes not listed this house. It's like it is the coolest, conversion of things that I cannot
yeah,
ignore how everything came together.
Yeah.
Like, this is
Yeah.
this is what is meant to happen in my world, and I will do everything I can to make it successful.
That's
Because what
cool.
love
a
it.
cool, like, who has this kind of cool stuff happen, Like, I'm
Yeah,
gonna
Right.
take
Oh,
advantage of
well,
it, dang it. So,
everybody that meets Nick has cool things happen.
yeah, all of a sudden you're like,
Hmm.
oh, that's a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. He's a unicorn on so many different levels.
Yeah. So,
Anything else,
Well,
Marco?
no, I mean, I'm so happy that you joined us.
Yeah.
thank
That you
you.
joined the not only here in online but also the brokerage.
Yeah.
You have such contagious energy.
Oh, thanks.
Um,
You guys do too. I
yeah,
I am so I and hopefully I say that enough. I want to learn from you guys. I have so
yeah,
much to learn about resale. So whatever you guys have to teach, I'm going to be bugging
yeah,
the heck out of everybody
yeah.
out there. who has
And
things I can learn from.
I feel like there's so many, and that's what I really love about this brokerage is that there's so many people that are unselfish.
Yeah,
In the sense
yeah,
they're willing to share their experiences, they're willing to share
yeah.
their ideas. There's enough real estate for everybody.
Hmm. There
Yeah,
is.
that
There
is
is.
it, Marco.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the
Hmm.
principle of abundance. There's
Yeah.
Yep.
enough money to go around. There's enough homes to go around. There's enough
Yeah.
help and education to go
Hmm.
around. Like as long as we
Yeah.
understand that we have enough, we will
Yep.
always have enough.
Yeah. And
Exactly.
and if your fellow agent is winning, good for them because you know what? That is
Yeah.
promoting your brand, your
Hmm.
brokerage.
Yes.
Hmm.
The more signs we have out in the city, the more people will recognize us, the
Yep.
more they're willing to talk to us. I
Yeah.
think that's, you know,
Yeah. And
I just I don't understand the agent that is jealous of
Right. I
like
don't either.
I
well,
don't
that
get
comes
it.
from fear, right? That's
Yeah.
all fear. They think that they don't have enough, so they're scared. So they're trying to, it's fear.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a little bit of difference too from outside our brokerage. Like I won't help somebody outside our brokerage because they are my competition.
Mhm.
I just won't.
I
I
don't
just
know.
because I no, but
Are
see,
they though?
they are because like I have people that call me from my neighborhood because I live in a neighborhood that's 1 to 5 acres, and I've sold 11 houses in the neighborhood, so I'm kind of like the guy. But I still have a little other signs will pop up. But I'll have agents that don't know anything about my neighborhood call me and ask me about the neighborhood because they have listings coming up. My first response to them is, which neighbor's listening to a house without me? Like to me, they're my competition, so I'm not going to help them. If they
Yeah.
don't know the
Yeah.
neighborhood, they need to learn the neighborhood themselves.
Yeah.
There was one listing, then we'll wrap it up. That we couldn't find the listing. Like one of my neighbors told me this new house popped up, and I have a search set up. And I'm like, no, it didn't. Like it's
Huh.
nowhere. So then she told me where it's at. So I went and got the address. I pulled up the address. They put the subdivision wrong.
Mm.
That makes them look terrible. It makes me look fantastic. So am I going to help that agent? This is a situation I did because I knew her from when I worked at Solutions Real Estate. I called her up. I was like, hey, just a little FYI, this is why your house isn't getting any traction. She was like, how do you know that? I said, have you had any showings in 2 weeks? She's like, no. I said, this is why. Look at the subdivision name.
Mm.
Oh my God. So because I knew her, I helped her. But if it was a Jane Doe that I had no knowledge of, I wouldn't have because it's my competition. But that's how I look at that outside broker sub. Broker sub, I don't care. I'll help anybody all day long. But everybody else, from a mindset of realtors, because we are realtors, we are unemployed. We wake up every day, chasing our money. You got to have a little bit of that mindset that those outside of our brokerage, they're kind of our competition, whether you want to agree with that or not, because
Yeah.
somebody who lives in your same street is going to be marketing your same people as you are. So
Yeah.
you don't necessarily want to show them your hand all the time,
No,
but you
that's
still want
true.
to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
No, you're right.
it's not a negative thing. It's
Maintaining
just
a competitive
right.
advantage is important. Yeah,
Exactly.
for
That's
sure.
maybe that's a better way to say that.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
That's a better way to
But
say
but
that.
that's totally true. We are competing for business.
Right. But in
You're
our
right.
world, we're helping everybody because that's what we do at brokers have really been elevating the standard.
Well, you're doing this. This is so cool. Thank you
Right.
guys
This
for having me on.
you're
I
Thank
feel so
welcome.
you.
special. It was so nice talking to you guys. I feel inspired.
Thank you for saying yes the first time. That's Bri Roche. That's Marco Bravo. I'm Chris Dunham. Until next time, see you.
Bye.
Later.